Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday morning. Magandang umaga sa ating mga kababayan na present ngayon. And I believe meron tayong mga participants all over the world, not just here in the Philippines, but also in UAE, in Australia, in Southeast Asia. So thank you so much for allowing us to present New Zealand to you on a Saturday morning. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. And while we are still waiting for the others to join, I would like to formally welcome all of you to New Zealand Online Admission Day. And we are joined by wonderful people from Immigration Advisors New Zealand, and later makikilala ninyo sila. So, if meron pa kayong mga kaibigan, kamag-anak at mga kakilala na interested magpunta sa New Zealand, please feel free to share to them our link. Hindi pa po huli lahat, pwede pa po silang mag-join. So, once again, welcome, kabayan. Mabuhay tayong lahat. At I would like to officially start this by introducing the panelists or the people behind Immigration Advisor New Zealand who can help you go to New Zealand. And let's start with our Client Relations Manager. Welcome. Let's all welcome Priyanka. Priyanka is here. She is the head of admissions and first-time student visa team at Immigration Advisors New Zealand. And she had worked previously as senior immigration advisor. So what's good with that? Meron talaga siyang background at meron siyang expertise at alam niya kung ano yung mga tinitignan ng mga immigration officers. So kapag sa amin kayo nag-process ng application ninyo, you'll have the benefit of being assessed by someone who have worked with the immigration office in New Zealand. So she leads our visa processing team, ensuring the student application are prepared and aligned with immigration and embassy requirements. Let us all welcome Priyanka. Can we ask for a few words from you?
Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here today. I look forward to sharing some practical insights into the New Zealand student visa process and helping everyone better understand what Immigration New Zealand looks for when assessing student visa application. Thank you all for joining us, and I'll pass it over to Dana again.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. And of course, we are also in the presence of one of our team head. I'd like to also take this opportunity to call here Isha. Could you kindly give us a quick hi and hello to our audience today? She is working as our sales head, and we're happy to have here today with us this Saturday morning. Hi, Isha.
Hi, Dana. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, myself, Isha, I'm working as Chief Growth Officer with Immigrations Advisors New Zealand. So, we would really love to hear a lot many queries and would be happy to answer your all the queries here. Thank you. Please, can anyone please write in the chat box just to understand that you people are able to put your
Mm.
queries.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I see that we can type in the question and answer. Okay, I think it's also okay to use the question and answer when typing words that I'll be requesting everyone to type down. So thank you, Isha. Thank you, Priyanka, and for myself, I'm Dana. I'm the current in charge for the Philippine market. So I've been in the industry for more than 10 years already. And the difference is I have been to Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And I have experience sending people to these countries, and I can give you a quick or background ano ba dito sa mga countries na to ang best for Filipinos. And right now, all I can say is you will see later on kapag nagpunta na tayo sa ating presentation that New Zealand is one of the best options for you. Okay. So, We will be discussing the following. So we will be discussing a little bit about the types of visa in New Zealand, the work rights, the post-study pathways, scholarship opportunities, or how do you um, save in New Zealand, and of course, what the Immigration New Zealand check. And later on, we'll do information about how you can start with your application. Okay, so just a quick information about the different types of visa in New Zealand. This is a very brief one because mahaba po ang process at iba-iba po ang types ng visas. And a licensed immigration advisor can further give you information about this. And we really recommend that you consult with a licensed immigration advisor to understand better ano po yung mga types ng visa. So, as a summary, sa New Zealand po, meron tayong iba't ibang types ng visa like residence visa, work visa, partnership visa, student visa, skilled migrant category, and post-study work visa. So, eto po yung mga types ng visa na pwedeng applyan ng Pinoy if they want to go to New Zealand. Ngayon, if you want to go to New Zealand, may kailangan po tayo na job offer. Kung kayo po ay gustong magpunta sa New Zealand bilang manggagawa, kailangan po na meron kayong job offer. At andito po yung iba't ibang types ng visa na nangangailangan po ng job offer. And ang isa po sa challenges that Filipinos are facing is hindi po lahat nabibigyan ng pagkakataon mabigyan ng ganitong opportunity. Ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Kasi for you to apply for these types ng visa, job offer is one of the requirements. And unfortunately, if we will go to the next stage po, there is a challenge in terms of applying offshore. Offshore po meaning nag-a-apply kayo from Philippines going to New Zealand. Ngayon, ang nagiging challenge po ng mga Pinoy kapag nag-a-apply sila dito, ang employers po kasi ang naghahanap or nagpa-process ng documentation, which ang employers po usually ay hindi nakakagawa ng ganitong steps dahil napaka-tedious po nito na process. Isa pa po doon, madami po silang competitor na nasa New Zealand na. Ibig sabihin po niyan, kapag nandun na kayo, nag-a-apply kayo sa New Zealand at nag-a-apply din na counterpart nyo na nasa New Zealand na, of course, mas pipiliin nila yung nasa New Zealand na dahil makakapag-start sila kahit walang process na ginagawa yung employer para sa kanilang documents. Aside po from that, meron din po tayong mga iba't ibang requirements katulad ng dapat meron po kayong certain skills that mamimit para po dun sa requirement, dun sa type ng trabaho na meron sila. At ang isa pa po, napakahaba pong process po nito at may chances po na hindi pa rin po yan guarantee na ma-approve sila agad kapag nag-apply sila for this type of visa. And at lastly po, ang employment po, if ang gusto nila is for permanent residency afterwards, medyo kukulangin pa po sila ng mga requirements para maka-move forward po para sa residency. Ngayon po, ngayon po, ano po yung isang pwedeng possibility na makakuha po sila ng job offer, maka-qualify po sila for permanent residency? Ano po ba yung mga dapat ninyo na gawin? Or ano po yung isang option ninyo na kahit wala kayong job offer, pwede kayong magpunta sa New Zealand? Yan po ay ang pagiging isang international student. Okay. Ang international student po, ang difference po niyan, compared dun sa mga mag-a-apply po offshore. So, ito yung comparison natin. Pag international student po kayo, physically available na kayo. Nasa New Zealand na kayo. So, the chances of you being employed are already there. Dahil hindi na po mag-undergo ng documentations ang employer ninyo para i-hire kayo. Second po, you can attend in-person interviews. Since nasa New Zealand na po sila, pwede na kayong interviewin, pwede kayong ma-invite ng mga employers dahil they don't need you to require to um anong tawag dito? Hindi kayo kailangan na magpunta sa New Zealand para mag-attend ng in-person interview dahil as international student, nasa New Zealand na kayo. And if you will ask us, ang employers po sa New Zealand would recommend or would prefer someone na nakausap nila in person compared dun sa nakakausap nila online. Third, you will have an idea na po ng culture ng workplace sa New Zealand. Unlike po nang i-hire kayo from the Philippines going to New Zealand, may adjustment stage pa po sila. But once you become an international student, you will have a deeper understanding of the New Zealand workplace culture. Dahil nagkakaroon din po kayo ng training as international student, and you will have the opportunity po na makapagtrabaho habang nag-aaral. Next po, of course, ito yung pinakamaganda. You will have the New Zealand qualifications. And dun po sa mga interested na mag-apply for permanent residency afterwards, meron po tayong mga pathway na gagamitin nyo po yung qualification ninyo para ma-qualify kayo for permanent residency. And ito po yung mga bagay na to, you will see this in the website of Immigration New Zealand. At dun nyo po makikita na meron pong benefit kapag naging international students kayo. And lastly, you will already have the legal work rights. So you will have the legal work rights kahit wala pa po kayong job offer. Again po, for you to apply for the different types of visa, kailangan meron po kayong job offer. But here, international students are not required to have job offer for you to work in New Zealand. Ang kailangan lamang po ninyo, ma-approve kayo sa student visa. Okay. Ngayon po, ano po ba yung benefits pag naging international student sila? Okay, for international students po, you can study full-time in New Zealand. And while you are studying, you are allowed to work part-time. That's 25 hours per week. If you will ask me, being a consultant for Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, New Zealand is the most generous one. Canada will only allow you 20 hours per week. Australia will only allow you 40 hours every 2 weeks. But in New Zealand, that's 25 hours per week. And in a way, later, during our presentation, makikita po nila ano po yung computation na potential ninyong kitain kahit nag-work part-time. At later po, meron din opportunity na pwede kayong, while studying full-time, pwede rin po kayo na mag-work full-time. Okay. Next po, possibly qualify post-study work opportunities. So, may mga level of education po sa New Zealand na kapag ito yung course na kinuha ninyo, you will be allowed to apply for another types of visa, which is the post-study work visa, para makapag full-time work sila after they finish their course. And of course, ito yung para sa ating mga kababayan na may pamilya na at gusto po nakasama sila sa journey. You can bring your family. May mga types of education or level of education na pwede nilang dalhin ang anak at asawa nila. Ang maganda po dyan, may mga opportunities po na ang inyong partner or spouse can work full-time while your children will have the free education that domestic students in New Zealand are receiving. Okay, so we'll go further on that later. Okay, so ano po ba yung mga visa requirements? So, as what I have mentioned earlier, no? Kung dun kayo sa ibang visa, job offer is required. But in New Zealand student visa application, hindi po kailangan ng job offer. Ito po ang mga kailangan natin. First is offer of place. So, offer of place po, paano po nila yan makukuha? Of course, you have to consult with us here in Immigration Advisor New Zealand. We'll be the one to help you attain or acquire an offer of place from a specific institution kung saan po sila mag-a-apply. Okay. Next po, proof of sufficient funds. So, we'll go to this one later on para maintindihan po nila ng mas malalim. Ano po ba yung meaning natin sa sufficient fund? Next, evidence of tuition payment or ability to pay. Genuine student intention, valid passport, medical, and police clearance if required. Ito po yung mga requirements na kailangan natin sa visa application. But ang maganda po sa student visa application, hindi pa po kayo kailangan magbayad ng tuition fee before visa application. Ibig sabihin po niyan, pwede tayong mag-process with your documentations from beginning until the end nang hindi pa po kayo maglalabas ng malaking amount unless visa is approved or pre-approved in our term. So pag pre-approved na po sila, doon pa lang kayo kakailanganin magbayad ng tuition fee. Okay. Okay, so ano po ba yung mga pwede natin na applyan or level of education? So madami po tayong options dito. Hindi ko na lang po siya iisa-isahin. Pero ito po yung mga content ng bawat level of education sa New Zealand. And depende po yan kung ano po yung background ninyo, ano po yung preference niyo, ano yung natapos nyo before na program, and ano yung mga future plans ninyo. So, kailangan lang po natin ma-justify na meron po kayong progression sa education. And the best person who can explain this further to you would be coming from our team in Immigration Advisor New Zealand. We assess the documents that you will be forwarding to us, and we will provide you the best option. Ano yung level of education that would match your background and of course your preference. Okay. Now, marami pong magtatanong sa akin, Miss Dana, kasi job offer na yon, trabaho na yon. Pagdating namin, trabaho yon. Ang student po, mag-aaral kami. So, gagastos kami sa tuition fee. At of course, naiintindihan po namin yan. Meron po tayong mga sitwasyon na ito po yung mga consideration nila kung bakit nagiging hesitant sila with this. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin ng student visa is para lamang po sa mga may kaya. Studying in New Zealand doesn't have to break the bank. Ano pong ibig sabihin natin dito? Okay. So marami pong opportunity. Paano kayo mag-survive in New Zealand? At hindi lang mag-survive, but you will thrive. Meaning po, ito yung mga opportunities para kayo magkaroon ng return of investment when you study in New Zealand. Tandaan po natin, ang pagiging estudyante sa New Zealand ay hindi lamang po yan para sa ngayon. Yan po is para sa bukas. Meaning po niyan, yung achievement or yung degree na makuha ninyo ngayon, magagamit nyo po yan para maging competitive employee po kayo sa New Zealand. At para matulungan namin kayo, maintindihan, paano kayo pwedeng maka-survive in New Zealand as international student, ito po yung mga potential na makatulong sa inyong finances. First one is the part-time work. Okay, again, pwede po kayong magtrabaho habang nag-aaral sa New Zealand. While you are studying at nagpa-part-time work po, nag-gain din po kayo ng work experience sa New Zealand na after ninyo matapos sa pag-aaral, na meron kayong nakaakibat na work experience doon habang nag-aaral kayo, magagamit nyo yan para maka-apply during your post-study work visa or graduate visa. Dahil meron na kayong degree, meron pa kayong work experience. At of course, you will also be earning while you are studying. Next po, meron tayong mga generous institutions offering scholarship between 1,000 New Zealand dollars to 10,000 New Zealand dollars. Meron pa po over 15,000 New Zealand dollars, especially po sa may mga maganda pong record or meron pong mga academic excellence. So, meron po tayong mga potential institutions na pwedeng applyan na magkakaroon po sila ng scholarship opportunities. At aside po dyan, if you are performing well when you were studying in your high school, in your college, meron din po tayong mga merit-based awards at minsan din po, automatic, basta Pinoy ka, automatic may scholarship ka. So may mga ganun po tayong mga partner institutions na nagbibigay ng ganitong opportunity for international students. Okay. Another thing po that would save more or makakatulong po sa inyo na ayan, may mga katanungan po tayo. Later, I will answer your questions ha. Okay. Ngayon, meron po tayong mga other ways pa po paano kayo makakasave. Of course, when you share your accommodation with other students, so yung one amount na babayaran ninyo, it can be divided into the number of student na mag-share po dun sa accommodation. Next is student discount. So, hindi po nila alam, pero marami pong discounts offered for international students as an international student po. So, meron po kayong mga discounts sa transportation, sa mga bilihin po. So, yan yung mga bagay na makakatulong po sa inyo. Next po is, of course, budget-friendly transportation. So, unlike po dito sa Pilipinas, medyo mahilig tayo sa mga Grab, sa mga Maxim, or sa mga Waze po, paano tayo nakapunta sa location natin. But in New Zealand po, isa sa mga transportation na pwede ninyong piliin would be yung bus. And of course, if may ano po sila ng bike, you can also do cycling. Ang maganda po dito, unlike po ng ating public transportation, mas friendly po ang transportation sa New Zealand. Ibig sabihin po niyan, hindi po kayo mahihirapan magpunta from one point to another because of the availability of public transportation. At hindi lang available, kundi magandang transportation sa New Zealand. Okay. Lastly is affordable study option. So, meron po magsasabi na baka hindi po namin kaya to, or baka po meron tayong anong tawag dito, mga program na medyo malayo na abutin. Huwag po kayong mag-aalala because here in Immigration Advisor New Zealand, matutulungan namin kayong mabigyan ng offer or opportunity na pwede nating makuha ang programs na mas mababa ang tuition fee. Kailangan lang po natin, of course, maintindihan ano po ba yung mga requirements, ano po ba yung opportunities na makakuha kayo ng scholarship, and ano po ba yung mga align po, of course, sa ating future plan. Next po is we recommend also kung gusto po nila ng makatipid, dun po tayo sa regional campuses with lower living cost. Meaning po niyan, punta po kayo dun sa mga hindi ganun kalalaki ang living costs, unlike sa mga cities. So katulad din po yan dito sa Pilipinas, di ba po, may mga cities po na medyo malaki ang expenses kasi city area po siya. Meron naman din pong mababa ang living cost kasi nasa suburban area or hindi naman po siya ganun kalaking city. And lastly is flexible study pathways. Ayan po. So ito yung mga opportunities na pwede ninyong i-take advantage para ma-manage ninyo well ang inyong finances as international student. Ayan. So, punta po tayo dito sa work rights for international student. So, naiintindihan po namin na most of you attending here are really aiming to go to New Zealand. At ang iba po is gusto po na magtrabaho agad. Pero hindi po alam na lahat is as international student, this is something that you can maximize and you can take advantage of. Kasi while you are earning an international degree, you are earning experience working part-time. Okay. So, ang work part-time po natin, during studies lang po yan. Kapag po bakasyon or holiday break, you can work full-time. Meaning po, yung 25 hours, it can increase during school scheduled break po ng studies nila. So, bigyan po namin kayo ng figure. Ano po ba yung potential ninyong maging income kapag nagpunta kayo sa New Zealand as international student? So, right now po, ang minimum wage is around $23.95 per hour. Okay, imagine nyo po yan, 23,000, that's around 1,000 pesos or more per hour. Yan po ang minimum wage natin sa New Zealand. Ngayon, kung i-estimate niyo po yan, magkano yung potential yung income as international student? 25 hours lang kayo pwedeng mag-work. So, if you multiply it into 25 hours, that's about $598.75. That's per week before tax. So, if i-compare po natin yan in Philippine peso, as part-time worker, you can potentially earn around 20,000 pesos per week. Take note, ito po ay part-time work pa lang at ito ay minimum wage pa lamang. So, you can estimate na as early as now if magiging international students kayo, paano ba yung potential income ninyo as part-time worker? And as what I have mentioned earlier, no? Okay, here. I-skip ko lang po muna doon. Babalikan ko yun mamaya. Pero as what I have mentioned earlier, pwede nyo rin po kasi dalhin ang anak at asawa ninyo. Especially po sa mga magte-take ng masters. Kapag masters or postgraduate level po ang program na applyan nila, pwede nyo dalhin ang asawa ninyo at pwede sila mag full-time work. So, makakompute nyo na rin po yan sa mind ninyo na if ang asawa ninyo magkakaroon ng opportunity makapag full-time work while you are studying, there will be 1.5 ano tawag dito, earning sa inyong family. You working part-time and your spouse working full-time. At hindi lamang po yon, dahil ang students or anak po ng mga estudyante can have free education dahil domestic rate lang po siya. So imagine po natin, i-compare natin yan with studying here in the Philippines, ano po, tapos may anak sila, yung expenses po ng binabayad natin para sa school is quite high. Pero pag nag-aral kayo sa New Zealand, yung anak nyo po, makakapag-aral as domestic student. Kayo po, mag-aaral as masters. So, yan po yung mga bagay na magiging benefits po ninyo if you will bring your family with you. If hindi man po nila kaya ng masters, okay lang po. Kasi meron din tayong option for bachelors. Ang bachelors lang po, may mga limited option lamang po yan, depende sa qualification, para makapunta and makasama po nila ang asawa at mga anak nila para sa free education. Ngayon, if naaalala po nila earlier, I mentioned na may opportunity din po sila makapag full-time work while studying. Opo, tama po yun. Pwede rin po kayo mag full-time work in New Zealand as student. As long as the program that you will take is a research program or master's by research. So, meron po tayong mga estudyante ngayon na nasa New Zealand na pagdating nila sa New Zealand at pag-apply at pag-enroll sa course nila ng master's by research, nakapag full-time work po sila. So, imagine you are earning already as international student and full-time dahil research po sila. And then yung partner po nila makapag full-time work din po. And then yung children nila magkakaroon ng free education. So that's a big opportunity given to our international students. Ayan. Now, after po nilang matapos sa program, you will then be qualified to apply for a post-study work rights. Ngayon, ang post-study work rights po, meron po mga eligible level of education po dyan. At meron din po na mga other options kasi ang post-study work rights depende po sa level of education. But if you qualify for the post-study work rights, you will have the opportunity to work full-time after you finish your course in New Zealand. So, marami po tayong mga estudyante na nandito na po ngayon. And later on, you will hear from someone na nasa New Zealand po who became an international student. And she will be sharing her experience. Ano po ba yung nangyari and experience niya po as international student. Okay, so I just like to highlight this one. Don't just look at the cost of studying. Look at the value of the qualification and the opportunities it can create. Imagine po nila, if naka-apply po sila dun sa other types ng visa, after po nun, may opportunity po na baka bumalik na sila ng Pinas dahil wala po silang papupuntahan afterwards. But as international student, meron pa po sila ng post-study work rights. At kung tatanungin po nila ako, meron po, for example lang, master's degree na 1 year and 1.5 year. Pagtapos po nun, 3 years, post-study work rights. So, yung time po ng 1 and 1.5 year, maikli lamang po yan na bubuniin para sa pag-aaral. After po niyan, post-study work rights for 3 years. Kasama pa rin po ang pamilya, kasama pa rin po ang anak, same benefits pa rin po. So, that's something that I highly recommend that you look into. Alright? Okay. So, this is the sample for potential earnings after graduation. But of course, this is a case-to-case basis kasi it depends on your industry, location, qualification, and experience. But just to give you a quick um, anong tawag dito, information about the potential salary, ito yung mga possible ninyong earn. And again, if kasama nila yung asawa nila, that would be times 2. Okay. Now, bakit po nagmamatter ang post-study work rights? Okay. So, once you finish your course in New Zealand, yung degree na nakuha nila, magagamit po nila yan para sa para sa um, permanent residency application. And of course, your international recognized experience will also be beneficial para maging employable kayo. Unlike those who are applying offshore and those who are already in New Zealand na walang international education. Next is the professional networking opportunities dahil po magkakaroon po kayo ng mga connections with different companies na connected po sa school kung saan sila nag-aral. You'll also have potential pathway to long-term career growth and opportunity to gain experience in your field of study. All right. Okay, so let's move forward to our success story. So, mahirap po para sa akin i-share ano po ang experience nila bilang hindi po ako naging international student. Pero maganda po na may maririnig po tayo from someone who have been an international student coming from the Philippines. So, let me just double check if Z is already present here with us.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, there she is.
Hi.
Okay. Hello. Okay, so let me introduce on stage. Okay, this is Z Manipon. She previously worked as operations supervisor and leadership training and development program lead here in the Philippines at Reed Elsevier Shared Service Philippines. She had completed Masters of Business Administration with a specialization in operations and logistics, and she had completed it in Auckland Institute of Studies. And right now, she's in the post-study work visa na. So let's all hear it on stage. Z? Hi, Z.
Hi everybody. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Hi Dana, thank you for having me.
Hi. Okay, sige. Z, we would like to hear your story about how you became an international student, your experience studying in New Zealand, and of course, ano ba yung mga benefits na nakuha mo as an international student. Sige, take it
Yeah.
away.
All right. So I came here September 2024. So magto 2 years na ako dito as MBA student. So I applied and I was admitted sa Auckland Institute of Studies. Ngayon, as a student, as a master MBA student, I was able to do part-time job. So dapat hindi kasi kayo mapili sa mga work dito para makahanap kayo kaagad ng trabaho. And ang maganda kasi, malaki yung per hour, kahit minimum. So, habang nag-aaral ako, nakakapagpadala pa ako sa kids ko. I'm a single mom. So, I'm still able to provide for them kahit na part-time ako. So, meron din yung mga ibang friends ko, mga flatmates ko, nag-research work sila. So, full-time sila. Nakakainggit talaga kasi full-time work habang nag-aaral. But, I didn't know all of these things before I applied as a student. And ngayon na pinapakinggan ko si Dana, sabi ko, oh my gosh, ang dami pala. Ang dami ko palang dapat nalaman before coming here. But since I'm here now, I'm urging you all na aralin ninyo lahat. Listen to what Dana and the rest of the team are explaining to you, intindihin ninyo, and then make a decision. Coming here was not a very hard decision for me kasi gusto ko talaga yung place. But finishing right after completing my MBA, within 8 days, I got my post-study work visa. So, ganon kabilis yung processing dito. And then now I'm working, although part-time pa rin, still looking for full-time. But yeah, 3 years. 3 years akong pwedeng mag-work before um before I have to leave. But then again, because I'm an MBA graduate, I have the I I I am privileged to be able to look for an accredited employer. Tapos pag median wage yung ibibigay nila sa akin, I can already apply for residency. So, ganon yung pathway ko. And hopefully, ma-inspire kayo. Single mom, 2 kids. I'm still providing for them part-time. So, ayun. Aside from napakaganda ng New Zealand talaga, pasensya na kayo pala. At nandito ako sa car. I came from another meeting kasi. But then again, please think about it. And I really hope that you'll make the correct decision. Join us. Take part dito sa program ng Immigration Advisors New Zealand kasi napakaganda talaga ng programs nila, yung binibigay nilang assistance. If I only knew na ganito kaganda, I would have gone with them before. But now I work with them and I know all of what they have to offer. So ayun, Dana, thank you for having me, and everybody, I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Z. Thank you so much for sharing all those experience you had. And yun po yung sinasabi ko kanina kasi mahirap po sa akin na explain po kung hindi ko naman experience. But from somebody else who has been in the New Zealand, who have shared her experience as international student, mas yun po yung ating magiging basis kung ano po ba yung mga potential na pwedeng mangyari sa inyo once you become an international student. So, thank you once again, Z, for sharing your insights. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you, Dana.
Okay, thank you, Z. Now, this time, may mga bagay po na kailangan nating alamin. Dapat po maintindihan and dapat po bago kayo mag-apply ng visa, ito po yung mga dapat ninyong tandaan. Kami po is tutulungan namin kayo when you apply for the visa. And kailangan din po natin na i-ready kayo. Ano po ba yung mga dapat niyo i-expect? At today, we'll be hearing it from Priyanka to share to us her feedback and her expertise when it comes to what immigration New Zealand is looking for. So take it away, Priyanka.
Sure. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. So what immigration looks for, we'll move to the next slide. All right. So here we will be talking about the key areas Immigration New Zealand may assess. So the pointers that have been mentioned is about the applicant's profile, like your education background, employment history, travel history, and family circumstances. So before we look at documents or requirements, it is important to understand one thing. Immigration New Zealand doesn't assess applications based on just one document or one factor. Keep that in mind. Instead, they look at your application as a whole. So they want to understand whether you are a genuine student who has chosen an appropriate course, has the financial ability to study in New Zealand, and intends to comply with the conditions of your visa. So every application is assessed individually. So two students applying for the same course may receive different outcomes just because your personal circumstances, your education history, finances, and your future plans are different. Okay, so keep that in mind. So throughout today's session, I want you to think beyond simply collecting documents. So the real question is, does my application tell a clear, genuine, and consistent story? If the answer is yes, you are already moving in the right direction. So talking or touch basing upon these key areas like the education background. So Immigration New Zealand may look at what you have studied previously, how you have performed academically, whether there are any significant gaps in your education, and whether your proposed course makes any academic sense. These are the four important things that they would look at when we talk about education. So just to give you an example, if someone has completed a bachelor's degree in engineering and now wishes to study a master's in engineering management, the progression is generally easier to understand than choosing a completely unrelated program without a clear explanation. So, if there has been a study gap, that's not automatically a problem. What matters is whether you can explain what you are doing during that period and why you're choosing to study now. If a lady is taking a maternity break, she can definitely explain that. That is not a study gap. You can definitely explain that you had taken that maternity break, and explaining and informing, giving with the evidences of a child's birth certificate would definitely explain like that wasn't your gap that you had taken. All right. Now, moving ahead, the next point is employment history. If you have been working, your employment history can also help strengthen your application. So immigration may look at your work experience, whether it relates to your course that you have selected, and whether studying in New Zealand represents a logical next step in your career. For example, who has worked in IT for 5 years and wants to specialize further through postgraduate or master's study? This definitely shows has a clear progression because you have been stagnant and that IT designation for 5 years, and now you want to just upskill yourself. And this is definitely like demonstrating consistency rather than perfection. Okay. Moving ahead, the travel history. Travel history is another area that may be considered. So if you have previously traveled overseas and complied with the visa conditions of those countries, it will support your overall immigration history. But make sure that, wherever you have traveled, you declare to Immigration New Zealand. Declaration is very important. And that doesn't mean that you have to travel and then you have to declare. Even if you do not travel, that's perfectly fine. If you're a first-time traveler, immigration would accept it. It simply means Immigration New Zealand will place greater emphasis on the other aspects of your application, not your immigration history. And like I said, immigration history needs to be declared at all times. Okay. The next point is family circumstances, where so they may look at your family situation, like your social ties, your financial ties. This is something that you would need to show. This does not mean that your family has to be wealthy or whether you have relatives overseas. What this simply means is your family, how it is in Philippines, whether you have any assets, you own any assets, or your other family member who owns any family assets, you have any social ties, which is like your parents, your relatives, if they are in Philippines, that just shows that you have ties to your home country. So you're applying for a temporary student visa and you can return to your home country whenever required. Yeah, that's what it means by family circumstances. So it's about understanding your circumstances as part of your complete assessment. So moving to the next slide, here we will talk about course selection matters. So this is one of the most important part of any student visa application. And coming with that immigration background, where I was sitting and assessing a student visa application, the first thing that comes to me is the person who has applied for a student visa, has he applied for a course that makes sense? Is it a logical progression? If not, has he given me an explanation with regards to why he would like to pursue this particular qualification? That is very important. So choosing a course shouldn't simply be based on what someone is recommending you or what social media is selling. It is, or maybe because your friend is studying over here, so that is the reason you would like to go and just do that study just because your friend is happy doing or content doing that course. No, that's not how it is. Instead, ask the question yourself and try to answer the 3 important questions. Does the course align with your experience that you hold? There doesn't always have to be a perfect match, but there should be a logical explanation for why you have chosen this program. The second question that would be whether is there demand in New Zealand? understanding the New Zealand employment market helps demonstrate that you have researched your study destination and made an informed decision. Okay. And the third question that you can think about is, does this support your long-term goal? So Immigration New Zealand wants to see that you have thought carefully about how this qualification fits into your future plans. So choosing the wrong course can only have consequences. It may affect your visa application. If the course doesn't make sense for your background, it will definitely have implications. It may also impact your career opportunities because you will be investing significant time and money into a qualification. So before accepting an offer, take time to understand whether the program genuinely suits your academic and professional goals, or what you have studied, what you have done, and what you will be doing. Yeah. We will move to the next slide, where we will be talking about. Yes, Dana, if you could move to the next slide, please. Okay. So here we are talking about the financial profile. Okay. So this is again an interesting topic where I would say the financial documents are not just about showing money. So yes, you have that funds available with you. So you are interested to pursue this qualification, go study in New Zealand. But that doesn't mean that what you have in hand is something that you can display to Immigration New Zealand. There is a credible way of demonstrating it. So Immigration New Zealand wants to understand whether your education can genuinely be funded and whether the source of those funds is legitimate and verifiable. So they may look at whether the income being presented is consistent with the financial evidence that you have provided. For example, if you are getting salary every month on month sitting in your bank account, you would definitely need to provide your bank statements, which shows like, every month you have been generating income. And obviously that would, in totality, not just talk about the income that you have generated over right now, but it's over a period of time. Okay. So you would need to provide the source. It is important that funds are genuine, traceable, and available for your studies. So if you're using savings or if you're trying to take an education loan, make sure the documentation that you provide clearly explains the source. Immigration would like to see your saving statement, your fixed deposits, or your education loan, or any provident fund. These are the 4 forms of funds that they accept. If you're showing saving statement, they have clearly highlighted that the saving statement that you provide should be at least 3 months old as what at the time of lodgement. And if you have any transactions which is about $2,000 New Zealand dollars in those last 3 months, you definitely need to explain from where those funds have originated from. If it is from your regular salary, that's fine. You just have to give your pay slips or something. But if there are funds coming maybe from your investments and all, you just have to give a proper trail from where those investments have been held with you and how you have transferred it to this account. So that is the kind of funds you would need to declare. Besides that, there are 3 components that you need to show to immigration. One is your tuition fees, one is your living expense, and the outward travel cost. Tuition fees is something that you will easily get to see on the offer of place once you select the course and you get the offer. Living expense is generally you need to show 20,000 New Zealand dollars for 1 year for your living expense, in addition to your tuition fees. And evidence of outward travel cost is basically somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 New Zealand dollars. Okay. So if you are relying on a financial guarantor, like not necessarily the funds have to be your own funds. If you have your parents or your siblings who would like to support you, yes, they are acceptable sponsors. Your grandparents, your spouse, your in-laws, father-in-law, mother-in-law, or your siblings and parents are acceptable financial guarantors. They can definitely help you or sponsor you if they would like to sponsor your studies. But make sure that we would have credible documents to establish the relationship. and because Immigration New Zealand will definitely assess whether the sponsor has the financial ability to support you and whether the relationship is genuine. This is something that they would look at. The stronger and more transparent the financial evidence is, it is easier that it becomes for the visa officers to understand your application. All right. So moving ahead and talking about your next point, Dana, if you could move to the next screen.
Yep, moved it already.
Okay. So here we are talking about the future plans. So future plans, Immigration New Zealand wants to understand why you have chosen this course and how it fits into your future. So basically, they may ask whether this qualification that you've selected, why this qualification, why this institute, why New Zealand, and your application that you submit needs to answer these questions, your study relevance. Why have you selected this qualification, institute, and New Zealand? That's how you would need to explain it. How do you explain it? You would definitely be writing a statement of purpose to give this explanation. Besides that, the next point is about the career progression. So they may also consider whether the qualification that you are pursuing, whether it's a logical progression from your previous education or employment. So your study should help explain whether you're heading professionally or you're not. We have already touched based upon these points in the earlier slide where we have emphasized a lot on how you need to select a course and show your logical progression. So that's all that you need to explain. The next point that we are talking about is intentions after study. So it is important to be honest about your future plans. Your focus should be on your education, gaining valuable knowledge, and developing your career. So your application should clearly demonstrate why studying this program makes sense of your future. Okay. When I'm talking about this, Immigration New Zealand would also like to honestly listen whether you would be applying for a post-study work visa. So which an answer to it is, if you're eligible, then yes, you would definitely apply for a post-study work visa to gain your practical experience of what you have studied and also to test the market, New Zealand market in the international atmosphere. So that is what you would need to explain to Immigration New Zealand through statement of purpose. Just make sure that you're honest to answer the questions. We would be like, when we are guiding you, we would be sharing the kind of questions that you can think about and how you can give your narration in your statement of purpose, right? So moving ahead, Dana, why proper guidance matters. So I would like to finish with something that I believe is extremely important. There's a lot of information which is available online today. So the moment you go home, you relax, you take your phone, start checking the reels and everything. And every time there is new information popping. But is it accurate? Does it make sense? Is it genuine? Or is it the person just increasing its numbers or the content over there just to get more viewers? That is something you need to think about and apply. So some of it might be accurate, some might not be. So that's why a proper guidance makes a lot of difference. So understand your visa conditions. So Dana, if you could just move to the next slide, please. Right. I'll just touch base upon this. Okay. So basically, what you need to do is before applying, make sure you understand the conditions that are attached to your student visa. Know what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. Okay. There are times where, someone must have seen some information and they're like, he said this, and that is the reason I want to do this. You need to understand whether are you eligible to meet that requirement or you are not. Every application is different, and no advisor, education agent, or consultant can honestly promise a visa approval. Keep that in mind. Understanding both the opportunities and the limitation helps you make informed decisions. So, whenever you are unsure about a visa requirement, always refer to the official Immigration New Zealand website first, because official immigration information should always take priority over rumors or hearsay what you get. Yeah. So social media can be useful for hearing about people's experiences, but someone else's experience isn't necessarily applicable to your situation. Your circumstances are unique, and your application should be assessed on its own merits, not on someone else's experience. Keep that in mind. Finally, just be cautious if someone tells you that your visa is guaranteed. No one can guarantee an approval, because visa decisions are made solely by Immigration New Zealand after assessing the individual application. Okay. And I'm telling you this from my experience, because every immigration officer has its own discretion. And like I said, they will look at an application in totality, not just by one document, or just because you belong to so and so place and you have so much funds. That's not how they decide. It depends upon what course you're selecting and all the things that we have spoken about earlier, right? So be cautious of misleading migration promises. Similarly, be careful if someone promises permanent residency simply because you choose a particular course. Immigration policies can change, and future visa pathways depend on many factors. The best approach is to choose a course because it genuinely supports your education, career goals, not because of unrealistic promises. So just to conclude my point, I would just like to say a strong student visa application is not about having the largest bank balance or the longest list of documents. It's about presenting a genuine, well-prepared application where your education history, your career plans, financial evidence, and future goals all align. If you prepare carefully, provide accurate information, and rely on official guidance, you will give yourself the best opportunity for a successful outcome. So thank you for listening to me, and I'll now hand it over to Dana, and Dana will take it over from here. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you so much for sharing us your expertise. Okay, again, if you will process your documents to us, Priyanka will be the one to help you with the visa application. So thank you so much, Priyanka, for your time today. And just to emphasize about the why work with licensed immigration advisor. We here in Immigration Advisor New Zealand has 5 licensed immigration advisor. And over the past 20 years of our experience, we are able to send more than 10,000 clients to New Zealand. And if you will check our Google review and Facebook review, you will see the success stories of our students. And as what we have mentioned earlier, it's better to work with a licensed immigration advisor because we have the expertise and knowledge when it comes to visa application. Huwag tayo mag-rely agad-agad kay Gemini or kay ChatGPT or kahit sa mga bloggers, kasi when it comes to the visa application, that's a very delicate or very a very important matter that you have to prioritize, and you need to let an immigration advisor take charge or help you with that process. Okay, and just to show you ano na bang figures ni Immigration Advisor New Zealand. So we are happy to let everyone know that for the past 2 years, we have a success rate of 95 to 100% approval. Ito po yung mga na-approve na namin na estudyante. So we got 25% in 2024 and 100% 2025. And we're still working on this, continuing and maintaining this success rate. And I hope that one day, kayo din po, once again student namin kayo, makabilang po kayo dito. Ngayon, meron po mga magtatanong, magkano po ba yung service charge namin? Meron ba kaming service charge? The good news po, wala po kaming service charge. Wala po kaming processing fee. But what we have, but if you will compare it with our competitors po, ang isa po naming competitor, they charge around $750. That's 27,000 pesos. Second po, it's around 43,000 pesos, and yung last po namin na competitor, it's 136,800 pesos. So medyo malaki po siya. But here in Immigration Advisor New Zealand, what we have is a commitment fee lamang po of 10,000 pesos. Opo, 10,000 pesos lamang po yan. At meron po tayong promo ngayon. Dahil ang 10,000 pesos po will be free of charge kung magsasubmit po sila ng application on or before July 27. So ngayon po is June 27, at kapag nakapag-submit po sila ng application before July 27, wala po silang babayaran na 10,000 pesos. So I highly recommend, especially po sa mga estudyante ko na nandito na ngayon, na na-miss out po yung 10,000 na waiver natin nung mga nakaraang buwan. Take this opportunity po para makuha pa rin po nila ang ating promo. Ayan. Ito po ang aming contact details. If meron po silang mga katanungan, please feel free to reach out to us. Pwede po nilang take screenshot po nito. And I believe meron po kayong mga na-receive na emails from us. You can communicate with us through those email addresses. And kung kailangan po nila ng immediate answer sa mga questions, our WhatsApp number are here, and we have our social media pages. All right. Now, this time po, we'll open the floor for the question and answer. Ayan, meron na po tayong mga katanungan na nandito sa ating chat box. At isa-isahin po natin sila. Okay,
Yeah,
we
so
have...
I'll read the questions, Dana. So you
Alright.
and Priyanka can answer accordingly to
All right.
so the questions. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Isha.
But it is some questions are not written in English, I feel
Okay.
so.
Yeah. I'll read the Tagalog. So yeah,
Yeah.
the rest you can read it out loud. So I'll go first. The question from Maybell De Leon, ano po qualification para makalagpas ng immigration? Ang tanong po ba nila is ano po yung mga documents or ano po yung kailangan nilang gawin? Ayun po, sige, para makita po ng lahat ano po yung dapat nilang gawin pagkatapos po nito. Ito po yung steps natin. We recommend you to fill out our enquiry form. We will copy-paste po sa ating chat box. We will copy-paste this link to our chat box, and if you are interested to book an appointment with us, feel free to fill out this form. Then the second step po is to send your documents to this email addresses. So dan@nzimmigration.info or admissions@nzimmigration.info. So kung ready na po yung mga documents sila, I believe there are some students here na ready na po yung documents. So ito po yung next step na gagawin ninyo para ma-submit natin on the spot ang application ninyo ngayon. So maybe if your question is about paano ka magiging qualified, first thing that we need to do, fill out this form. You will have a one-on-one session with me. I will assess your documents and your profile, and then we will proceed with the application para makapunta kayo sa part ng visa application na para naman dun sa immigration part. Okay, I hope I was able to answer that. Okay. All right. Okay, Isha?
Yeah. So the next question is, can we have the copy of slides for the reference? Thank you.
Okay. I think we can give you the details in our slides are quite lengthy. So if you want a more shorter version, we can provide you a one-pager with the details here. And since most of the information here are in general, I recommend that we do a one-on-one consultation, because during the consultation, it will be based on your background. It will be based on or it will be based on what your preference and your background is. So yeah, let's do a one-on-one consultation for this one.
Okay. So the next question is, hi, I have finished Diploma of Early Childhood Education. and Care from Australia. Can I still study Bachelor of Education Early Childhood Teaching, or can I apply for work visa to work full time as a childcare teacher? What is the best option?
All right. Okay, thanks, Isha. Okay, I'll answer the first part. Um, Before we proceed with answering if you can study bachelor, may I confirm what was the program you have completed in the Philippines? Because you mentioned it was in diploma in Australia. So the basis of our endorsement of a program to you will be based on the other education level that you have completed. And again, we'll also want to know what would be your background. Do you also prefer to technically bring your family with you? So in those part, we will identify what will be the best option for you. But if, for example, you have completed diploma and you don't have any bachelor's degree in the Philippines yet, then basically we can go with the Bachelor of Education in New Zealand. And in terms of your second question, can you apply for a work visa? As international student, you can work part-time under under the student visa benefit. And during scheduled break, you can work full time. And in case of you asking if work visa, we recommend that you talk to our licensed immigration advisor. And basically, kasi ang isa talaga sa requirement for you to apply for a work visa is a job offer. So as long as you can provide a copy of the job offer, then basically we can help you apply for a work visa. But if you don't have and you would like to go to New Zealand, one of the options is going for an international student pathway. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next one.
So the next question is, what are the part-time work while studying?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of part-time jobs you can have from retail to hospitality. Um, and there's a lot of options. As what Z mentioned earlier, no, she said that it's important that at the beginning of you going to New Zealand, it's more important for you to um na hindi kayo namimili. You don't choose the type of job that you will have because that's how you get connections. But
Yes.
in a sense, there will be a lot of options that you can have as long as hindi kayo mamimili. Okay, would you like to share on this?
Yes. Yes, just to add to it, talking about the job opportunities, please, remember this that when you're applying for a student visa application, part-time jobs are definitely available in New Zealand. And the institute that you select, every institute have their student hubs. Try to start connecting with different communities in your institute, and that's how you get to know about the opportunities that are available in New Zealand. And also, your institutes do help you, guide you for your part-time jobs, even your post-study work opportunities and things like that. So make sure that you try to socialize, be in different kind of communities, keep in touch with your student hub to keep knowing about every opportunity that is open or there for you, which is related. Some might be related to what you're pursuing, some may not, but that doesn't stop you from not getting an opportunity. Part-time jobs are available. It's just that you need to know how to connect is through your student hub or keeping a watch on the comms that are being sent out. So that's how you will be able to be updated about it.
Thanks so much, Priyanka. Yes, that's correct. So, that's the benefit of being an international students kasi nagkakaroon kayo ng direct access to employers. And as what was shared to me yesterday with our school representative from New Zealand, the employers go to the institutions to look for for the potential employees. So for example, if yung program or institution no nag-o-offer ng education. So employers ng mga schools will go to that specific institution and request for the list of graduates. So yun yung nagiging reason na nagiging opportunity for employment ang pagiging international student kasi nagkaka-access kayo sa ganyan. Okay. All right. Next one.
How much is the estimated cost for the study visa?
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Sunny, for that question. No, so for the student visa itself, if you will be able to have the fee waiver for the commitment fee, you won't have anything to pay to us. Okay, so wala kayong babayaran sa services namin. But when it comes to submission of your visa application, please take note that the visa is amounting to 870 New Zealand dollars. So that's payable sa embassy. And that's what I have mentioned, no? Ang visa application happens before payment of the tuition fee. So you will need to settle first the student visa, and once you get your visa pre-approved, you will then proceed with paying the tuition fee. Okay. And if you would like to know magkano ang tuition fee, it ranges between 400 New Zealand dollars, 400,000 pesos, or 12,000 New Zealand dollars up until 35 to 38 New Zealand dollars, depending on the program, depending on the level of education, depending also on the institution. But as what we have shared in our screen earlier, merong opportunities for you to save money. Yun po ay yung mga scholarship, yung mga lowered na tuition fee or institutions offering lower tuition fee, etc. So yan po yung mga potential ways on how you can save for studying in New Zealand. All right. Okay. Next question.
Okay, so the next question is, I and my partner are both graduate of professional education and are already licensed here in Philippines. What are the steps we could take? Our documents are ready and apostilled already.
All right. Thank you so much for letting us know. Ang next step na po natin would be to submit your application. Before that po pala, kailangan natin mag-usap po. Ano po yung plans nila, ano po yung level of education na na-complete nila, and ano po yung mga location, saan sa New Zealand, kasama po ba nila yung pamilya nila pag nagpunta doon. So first step po natin is magkaroon po tayo ng one-on-one consultation. So kung bago ko pa lang po, kung hindi pa po tayo nagkakaroon one-on-one consultation, let's have a one-on-one consultation para mabigyan po kita ng proper guidance. And afterwards, once makadecide na tayo which institution, which program, we will then proceed with the school application. Okay, yes, Priyanka, you have something to share?
You have actually covered that point because
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to talk about if you and your partner are holding professional qualifications and the licenses that are required in Philippines, New Zealand would definitely have pathways, but to understand the pathways that would suit your profile or your criteria, we would definitely need more information with regards you need to share your CV, and that would give us an understanding, and then we can have that one-on-one consultation to help you explain what would suit your requirement. So as every profile is different, I would encourage you to contact us after the webinar. We can review your qualifications, teaching experience, and licensing details, and advise you on the most appropriate pathway for both you and your partner. I mean, either one of you can go on the other one as a dependent. So that's how it would be recommended. Yeah. So once that's clear, we can discuss the appropriate visa pathway for you. All right. I hope that answers your question. And I understand that we already ran out of time. So we would like to take one last question now before we could conclude. So Isha?
Yeah. So the next question is, can my boyfriend from Australia sponsor me if I choose to study in New Zealand? Do I need to show money? Uh, next, I guess, is in Tagalog.
So,
Dana should read it.
Okay. Yeah,
all right.
she's working as an audit in the Philippines, and her boyfriend is an Australian, but she wants to study to New Zealand for work.
Right. So while I was talking about the finances that you need to show for your student visa application, your boyfriend, if you're able to provide the evidences to establish a relationship between you and him, we can definitely, he can sponsor you. And to give you more information about what are the set of documents that he can provide and things like that, you can definitely reach out to us on our email address, which is listed over here, and we will get in touch with you and show you how we can help you further with regards to how we can sponsor you. But yes, if we are able to establish the relationship, we can definitely proceed ahead with that. And we'll tell you the ways. In case we are not able to establish a relationship, then we can definitely look into other factors, how we can showcase those funds for your student visa application. We can talk about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Again, thank you so much for those who have sent their
There are
questions.
there
Yep.
are questions.
Yes.
I guess we
Yes.
should quickly go through all the questions. Uh, I can see there are more questions, and since people have listened very patiently, we should be answering all of them in a quicker manner. Yeah. So the another question from the lessee itself is, uh, can I apply for a work visa as a full-time worker in childcare center?
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Leslie. Okay, thank you for that question. So, as long as you will have the job offer, we can help you with the visa application. But yeah, I understand your background is in you have completed already a study in Australia, no? So what I recommend is for us to do a one-on-one, because during the one-on-one, I'll know more details about your experience in Australia, how did it go through, and of course during the consultation we'll be able to understand what would be your future plan. So Leslie, so that this can be discussed in a thorough manner, may I recommend that we do one-on-one consultation. I believe I have sent an email to you for to invite you for a Zoom consultation. Let me know when are you free next week for the one-on-one consultation so that we can talk about this.
Okay, so the next question is, I think most of us wonders on what pathways we should take depending on our situation, undergrad, graduate, or experienced.
Yes, okay. So that's the good thing, because when we do consultation, we don't only do it by group. We do it one-on-one, so that we'll have a more detailed information about your background. And when you consult with the consultant like us, mas mabibigyan namin kayo ng option that would align with the pathway na pwede sa inyo. And mahirap po kasi pag nag-decide kayo na ito yung kukunin na level ng education, at the end of the day, you're not qualified, or it's hard for the visa application to go through kasi hindi natin ma-defend. So, at the very beginning pa lamang po, mas maganda po na magkaroon tayo ng one-on-one consultation para ma-identify po kung ano yung level of education na bagay sa inyo. Kasi case-to-case basis po siya, at ibinabase po namin yan sa ano yung profile ng estudyante.
Okay, so the next question is, how to clear the declined working visa in INZ?
Okay, may I ask, Priyanka?
Yeah. So the question is how to
Clear the
Clear.
declined working visa in INZ.
clear the working visa. Are you talking about the
Work visa, maybe the
visa?
query is regarding the work visa.
Yes, for this, you would definitely need to have a word with our licensed immigration advisor because they would be the one who can guide you through. So for that, you can connect with us and we can have you have a meeting arranged with a licensed immigration advisor and they would be able to guide you in a better way. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the next question is, I am an undergrad of BS Agriculture. I have been working in a corporate setup related in agriculture for 10 years. To which type of course should I try to take? Or maybe I do not have a good chance already.
Okay, thanks, Isha. Okay, so you mentioned you have completed BS Agriculture, but not work to a program, not to a job not related to that. So we have to determine what was the job that you are connected with right now, because it's been quite a while since you have practiced or since you have completed BS Agriculture. So we have to visit what is your activity, because there should be an alignment between the pathway or the past na nagawa mo na to your present up until your future. So please connect with us so that I can understand better about the job that you are currently working on, and to provide you better options depende kung ano yung career, kung saan career ka naka-connect ngayon.
Yeah, so I would recommend, the person to book a personal session, one-on-one session with Dana, and share the CV and the required documents, and then can definitely, they can, Dana can guide you accordingly. Okay, so the next question is, hi, I'm a licensed teacher, bachelor's of elementary education. I worked abroad as a Montessori teacher and continue my Montessori teaching journey here in the Philippines. In total, 3 years Montessori teaching experience. What is the best course for me?
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing this. So your 3-year Montessori teaching experience gives us an idea that you have been still connected with education. So it depends on the level of the student that you have handled. Is it still with the elementary, or are you currently connected with early childhood? Or we have to determine first what would be the coverage of the experience that you have. But what's good with the teacher, kasi marami tayong options. You can either go with the early childhood, education management, or primary education, secondary. But it's important that we identify first, where are you right now? What is the current level of or the student that you're currently handling, so that we can properly align you with the best course applicable with what you are currently doing.
Yeah, so Ria can also book a session with Dana and can take a clear, understanding of the same. So Dana, the next question is in Tagalog. Can you please read it for yourself?
Okay. Hi po, I am Crystal. Nurse here in the Philippines. Student visa pa rin po ba pag ganun, ma'am? Thank you. Okay. So, actually, kung ang preference mo is to become a nurse here become a nurse in New Zealand, you have to look for the registration requirements. One of the requirements in New Zealand to become a professional is you have to be registered. And different professions have different registration process. And for nurses, you have to look for the registration assigned for nursing. And you will see there what would be the documents or requirements needed for you to convert your license. But one of the things that would make your process easier is going through becoming an international student, because merong mga institutions that have that would lead to registration. That means that once you have completed the program to that specific institution, it will lead you to become registered, or it will technically help you ease the way to becoming a registered nurse in New Zealand. So, but again, if you already have a job offer and you would like to process for work visa, we can help you. But if you don't have yet and you would like to proceed, you may want to consider studying in New Zealand as a pathway.
Okay, so the next question is, can you share risky type of client situation wherein you guys managed to have them sent to New Zealand just to motivate most of us? So I feel you need to go to our website. So we publish on daily basis the blogs, the client success stories, and there are multiple testimonials mentioned over there along with their case history. So you'll find really motivational stuff over there to feel motivated to go through us. Okay, so the next question is, are you going to help us find a part-time job in New Zealand? So as you know, in last discussion, Pranka has mentioned that every institution which you are selecting have their student hubs or their career cells, which guide students for their part-time jobs also, and they help them, for resume writing or multiple things basically. So they guide you about the part-time jobs there, the accommodations, or any such queries if you have. So the first thing when you reach to New Zealand, enroll for a course, you need to go to your institution and visit your student hubs. And definitely, though we don't take responsibility of finding part-time jobs, but definitely we can guide you about it, that how you can find it for yourself. Okay. Can we set up a group consultation? My friend and I are interested. We are accounting graduates with 8 years of experience. Yes, for sure. Dana has already pasted a link in the chat box. Please fill in those forms and Dana will send you a link for a group consultation. So she has done it again. Please copy that link, fill in the details, and she will be happy to connect with you. Okay. So the next question from the Leslie, she has typed the questions earlier
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, I think I was able to address this.
So Leslie,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, I feel since I feel that you have so many queries and the queries I guess have been already taken care, but still if you have anything pending, you can book a session again with Dana and can have a detailed conversation about yourself. Okay, so the next question is from Maharti. I'm currently practicing my profession here in the Philippines. Will my husband be able to work or find a job in New Zealand while I'm studying? Even though she don't have bachelor's degree or don't certified professional, how he is fit to work in certain kind of jobs. So Dana, would you like to take it or should I?
Um, yeah, basically one of the benefits of being a dependent of an international student is basically coming with them, and one of the requirements is to become is your spouse is an international student. So, however, when it comes to application for dependents, this is usually handled by our licensed immigration advisor, since this is covered by their services. And the good thing with us here, kasi you can have a free consultation with them once that we are in the process of applying um for your school or visa application. Your husband and you can have 15-minute free consultation with our licensed immigration advisor, and they can provide you further regarding the requirements for the visa of your husband. And even if you are still in the process of working on your application, if you are serious already with considering to go to New Zealand, then definitely we can help you book an appointment with them for the free 15-minute consultation.
Okay. So, okay. So the next question is from Mark Dermus. how can I reach out to a licensed immigration advisor in INZ? So yeah, so Mark, please write to Dana about your profile. Dana has already shared her details. She will book a free consultation of 15 minutes for you, and she'll be able to bridge that meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe I have already had initial email exchange with you, Mark. So please reach out back to me so that I can have our licensed immigration advisor take a look at your profile. I have actually already done that part, but let's revisit your profile and let's book the appointment with our LIAs.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we are almost done. Ria has just typed early childhood. So I guess this is in regard to her previous question that whether, she can do bachelor's of early childhood education in teaching at New Zealand or not. And Dana, you asked about the previous qualification. So I guess she has answered to that question.
Yeah.
Um, that early childhood is what she has done in Philippines. So Ria, again, you can type in or fill in the form. The link is already there in the chat box. You can copy that and then you can have a one-on-one discussion with Dana on the same.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Priyanka, for helping us answer our inquiries. So kung alam po namin may mga katanungan pa kayo and you do have a lot of questions in mind. Again, please connect with us. I'll just show again. Okay, this is our email address. You can take a screenshot, you can copy my number, you can connect with us through our social media pages. We'll be happy to help you go to New Zealand. So, thank you once again, everyone. This is Dana, and let us be the one to help you going to go to New Zealand. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful Saturday afternoon ahead.